How do you turn scales into licks? Let's talk about that. A lot of guitar players are often taught to practice scales in an ascending and descending fashion, like this. But if you play a scale like that in a solo, it's going to sound like the scale is controlling what you play, when what you want to be doing is hear melodies and licks in your head, be able to replicate them on the guitar, and feel and hear them come through an actual speaker. Practicing scales is the easy part. It's that transition from scale patterns to music. That's what we as guitar players tend to struggle with the most. I'm going to show you something in this video that you can use to get started with on your quest to turn scales into music. And I'm going to refer to this as soloing framework. Everyone knows the major scale. Even if you don't know the specific intervals or the theory behind it, you'll at least know what it sounds like. It's a 7-note scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Many of you will also know that there's a 5-note version of this scale called the major pentatonic. The same goes for the natural minor scale. It contains 7 notes and it has a 5-note sibling called the minor pentatonic. Since there are fewer notes in these scales, they require less thought when it comes to visualizing them, which to me makes them conducive to coming up with licks and phrases that sound musical. Now, before we move on, I don't want you to mistake this as me telling you to ditch larger scales like the major scale and the natural minor in favor of their easier pentatonic versions. That's not what I'm getting at here. I want you to think about the kind of solos you hear played by players such as Derek Trucks, Jimi Hendrix, Slash, John Mayer, Brad Paisley. Are these guys always using larger scales, larger meaning 7 or more notes, like the major scale, the natural minor scale, modes, harmonic minor, melodic minor, anything like that? Is that what they're always using in their solos? No, it's not. More often than not, what you'll notice about rock, blues, funk, and soul guitar players is that their soloing framework is based on pentatonic scales, whether they're major or minor. So if you've spent some time practicing the major scale and you've tried to use that scale alone to improvise over a major key backing track, chances are that you initially struggled to come up with licks and phrases that sounded musical. What I recommend doing to fix this is to use the major pentatonic scale as your soloing framework and occasionally throw in notes from the major scale. Now that's really not such a scary thought because pentatonic scale positions, whether they're major or minor, are easier to visualize than the larger scales from which they are derived. And it's 5 notes versus 7 notes, so it's really not that big of a difference. You've only got 2 other notes that you could add to a major pentatonic scale to make it a major scale. If you know your theory, you'll know that these notes are the 4th and 7th degrees of the major scale. Same rules apply for the natural minor scale and harmonic minor. And those are just 2 examples, but you could use the minor pentatonic as your soloing framework and throw in the additional notes that make up either the natural minor scale or the harmonic minor scale. These would be the 2nd, the 6th, and the 7th scale degrees. So what I'm going to leave you with is 2 examples of licks that use pentatonic scales as their soloing framework, but also add in notes from the larger scales that they fit into. Before I do that though, I just want to say to anyone watching this, if you want to get a good solid grasp on fundamental music theory that you can actually apply to your guitar playing, this would include concepts like intervals, major scale harmony, learning the notes of the fretboard, and learning how to visualize scales all over the fretboard as well. If you're interested in that sort of thing, then check the link in the description below for a 50% off coupon to my online guitar course, Bulletproof Guitar Player. All right, here are the licks. This is the first one. It's in G major. The first bar of that is all major pentatonic, but when I reach this part here, these 2 notes, fret 8 on the high E string, which is the note C, and fret 7 on the B string, which is the note F sharp. These 2 notes are the 4th and the 7th of the major scale. So those are the 2 notes that are missing from the G major pentatonic scale, and I just added those in there. So in my mind, I'm visualizing the G major pentatonic scale all over the neck, but because I've also spent a lot of practice time on the positions of the major scale, I'm very aware of the additional notes that I can add to the major pentatonic as well. And here is lick number 2, it's in E minor. Again, this one starts with a pentatonic lick, a minor pentatonic lick. And then the second bar, I introduce some notes from harmonic minor to give it a more interesting sound. So I'm visualizing minor pentatonic, but I'm also very aware of the surrounding notes from natural and harmonic minor that I can add in. Okay guys, that's all for today's video. What did you think of it? Leave a comment below and let me know. That'd be great. I'm definitely planning on doing follow-up videos to this one specifically to teach you more about how you can take scales and other theory concepts and actually use them as improvisational tools in your playing. And as always, if you have suggestions for future content you'd like to see here, then just leave a comment and I'll take your suggestions on board. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up below and click subscribe for more. Cheers guys, I'll see you in the next one.